Founded by Debbie Harry and Chris Stein in 1974, Blondie is an American punk, new wave band that started off as an underground gem and rose to fame and success in the late 70s and early 80s. The band mixed pop, disco, reggae, and early rap into a new, eclectic musical style that introduced audiences to new and original sounds. Today, we're diving deep and giving you 10 facts you might not know about Blondie. Founding members Chris Stein and Debbie Harry dated for around 13 years. Stein joined a band called the Stilettos in 1973 and got into a relationship with the band's vocalist, Debbie Harry. In 1974, Stein and Harry left the Stilettos to create their own band, which would come to be known as Blondie. In 1982, the band split up for a bit for multiple reasons, one of them being Stein's autoimmune disease, which Harry helped nurse him back to health. They stayed together for some time and tried their hands at solo careers, both of which were relatively unsuccessful. Eventually, in the late 80s, the couple broke up. Despite their breakup years ago, Stein and Harry still share love for one another. Looking back on early memories, Harry said the following in a recent 2020 interview. "I felt very drawn to Chris, and it was easy for us to get along. We shared a lot of similar ideas and points of view, and it seemed an easy friendship." Stein reciprocates the affection, saying, "I thought Debbie was amazing. I see aspects of her now that are still the same." The name Blondie came from Debbie Harry's hair color. Chris Stein, co-founder of the band, explains, saying, "It was just from what people yelled at Debbie. Debbie came home one day with her hair dyed blonde and then told me within a week or so truck drivers were yelling, 'Hey, Blondie,' at her all the time." Harry, as we know, is known for her platinum blonde hair, so the name is definitely fitting. Blondie and Debbie Harry's names basically became interchangeable during the band's peak, but before Blondie, the name of the band was called The Angel and the Snake, which they performed under for 2 shows in 1974. For some time, there is a rumor that the band was named after Hitler's dog, but Stein shut down these rumors, saying, "The Hitler's dog thing, I don't know if I knew about that then. There's no E on Hitler's dog's name. It was Blondi. To control the rumor, the band had buttons made that read Blondie as a group. Blondie technically had the first rap song to ever hit #1. Their song Rapture was the first #1 song in the US to feature rap vocals. At the time, rap music was fairly underground to many Americans. While there were of course great artists who were rapping in the mid-70s, including Grandmaster Flash, Africa Bambaataa, and Curtis Blow, only the Sugar Hill Gang reached the Hot 100 in 1979 with their song Rapper's Delight. Therefore, Rapture introduced many people and mainstream media to rap. Debbie Harry and Chris Stein both say that many rappers have told them it was the first rap song they ever heard. Stein says, "The most impressive was the Wu-Tang guys and the guys from Mobb Deep. They told us it was the first rap song they ever heard when they were kids. It was so exciting to see the whole other world that was going on at the same time as what was going on downtown in New York, even though we were only vaguely aware of it." The music video for Rapture also sets records. It was the first rap video to be broadcasted on MTV when it premiered on the show in 1981. Another fun fact, famous artist Jean-Michel Basquiat even makes an appearance in the music video. Call Me was the best-selling song of 1980. The song was co-written by Debbie Harry and songwriter Giorgio Moroder. Moroder wrote the instrumental track and originally presented it to Stevie Nicks of Fleetwood Mac to finish composing and then perform it. However, Nicks turned down the offer because she had recently signed with Modern Records, which barred her from working with other songwriters. But Harry accepted Moroder's offer and wrote the lyrics and melody in reportedly only a few hours. The song obviously became a huge hit. Harry explains the success, saying, "To spend 6 weeks at #1 was a complete amplification of everything we had achieved outside of the United States. We didn't expect it, but it legitimized us in this country and made people realize that we were adventurous and had a vision that could transcend the styles of the day. We embraced the punk attitude. We were happy but belligerent at the same time. I hear bits and pieces of Call Me in other people's songs, even today. Not direct copies of it, but similarities. Music either works or it doesn't. It was the right place, right time, right sound. It all just sort of fell into place. What could be better? What more could you ask for, really?" Heart of Glass, one of the band's most successful songs, was not as popular with Blondie's original audience as it was with the rest of the band. As part of the punk and new wave scene of music, Blondie fans loved the band for their unconventional sound and rebelling against the mainstream music of the time. These punks were disappointed with Heart of Glass because they believed it strayed from Blondie's true sound. Harry explains her frustration with the critics, saying, "When we did Heart of Glass, it wasn't cool in our social set to play disco, but we did it because we wanted to be uncool. A lot of people we'd hung out and been close friends with on the scene for years said we sold out by doing a disco song." This is a blatantly ridiculous statement. It's always pissed me off that people had the nerve to pretend to be so stupid. We've consciously looked for a sound to break into American radio. And Heart of Glass was one of the most innovative songs Blondie recorded. The reason it's a hit is because it's a good song. Blondie and the Beatles were big fans of one another. John Lennon, in particular, was a fan of the new wave band. Right before his death in 1980, Lennon sent Ringo Starr a postcard in 1979, giving him advice on his solo career. The postcard reads, "Blondie's Heart of Glass is the type of stuff y'all should do. Great and simple." Clearly, Lennon wasn't one of the critics of Blondie's disco hit. Blondie reciprocated the love with a cover of the Beatles' Please Please Me. The cover was released in 2011, meaning Lennon sadly never got to hear it. Lennon would have certainly been a fan, as Blondie breathes a new, unique sound into the already classic song. Blondie also references the Fab Four on the song English Boys off their sixth studio album, The Hunter. Debbie Harry and Chris Stein write, "When I was 17, I saw a magazine. It had those English boys who had long hair. Despite having different sounds, the Beatles and Blondie are similar in that they broke into their respective genres in new and bold ways." While the Beatles transformed rock and roll into mainstream pop hits, Blondie did so with punk and new wave. One Way or Another, a cult classic, was inspired by some creepy events. Debbie Harry and then Blondie bassist Nigel Harrison wrote the song after Harry's ex-boyfriend began stalking her after their breakup. Harry explains the tragic inspiration, saying, "I was actually stalked by a nut job, so it came out of a not-so-friendly personal event. But I tried to inject a little bit of levity into it to make it more lighthearted. I think in a way that's a normal kind of survival mechanism. You know, just shake it off, say one way or another, and get on with your life. Everyone can relate to that, and I think that's the beauty of it." The stalking started in 1973 when Harry was in the Stilettos and continued in her time while dating Chris Stein. The stalking understandably terrified many of Harry's friends and family, including her new and old bandmates. But Harrison and Harry put a musical spin on the situation. Harrison explains the instrumental inspiration behind the song, saying, "My original music for One Way or Another was this psychedelic, Ventures-like, futuristic surf song, Gone Wrong. Then Debbie picked up on it. She came up with the Getcha Getcha Getchas." Blondie's drummer, Clem Burke, joined the Ramones for just 2 short days. He joined under the name Elvis Ramone in 1987, during which Blondie was disbanded and replaced Richie Ramone. The Ramones called Burke and asked him to perform last minute with the band at a show they had coming up, giving Burke only a few days to prepare. Ultimately, the pairing didn't work out. Joey Ramone says, "His drumming style wasn't right. It was very loose, like in Blondie, not as rigid as we need. Double time on the hi-hat was totally alien to him." Burke also didn't click with the punk group. He says, "I came to the Ramones with the attitude and mandate that I wasn't necessarily interested in being in the Ramones. Although, in retrospect, I did enjoy it. I might not be here today if I had continued to be in the Ramones. The best idea they had was to get Mark Bell, aka Marky Ramone, back in the band when I left. He's a great drummer. Although, for the 2 days that he worked with them, Burke says it was some of the hardest drumming he's ever done." Blondie hung out with Iggy Pop and David Bowie when they were getting their start. Although the band was gaining success in the UK and Australia, the US was late to the Blondie party. But Iggy Pop and David Bowie were early fans and endorsed the up-and-coming group. Chris Stein recounts his experience meeting the duo, saying, "It happens all the time when you meet your idols. It still goes on. But when we did the Idiot Tour in 1997 with Iggy Pop and David Bowie, that was a real big deal for us. We had been playing around and we heard that they wanted us to open for them on the tour. It was really exciting. I remember we did a show in the city at Max's and we got into this really shitty RV and drove to Canada. I think it was Montreal. Everybody was very tired and we staggered out into the hall and the two of them were just waiting for us in the hallway. It was mind-boggling." Debbie Harry also says that Iggy Pop and David Bowie gave her lots of advice and that Blondie formed a lifelong friendship with the two. Blondie is still together up until this day. They released their 11th studio album, Pollinator, which became the most successful album since No Exit. Blondie worked with multiple modern artists on Pollinator, from Charlie XCX, from Sia to Dev Hynes. Debbie Harry explains what it was like working with Sia, saying, "Any association with Sia is a complete honor. We asked her for a song because we were such big fans of Titanium. She was writing with Nikki Valenci from The Strokes. They submitted a couple songs and we picked the one we liked. Best day ever." In addition to working with new artists, Blondie is also up to date with live performances. The band even has a tour planned for 2021 with the rock group Garbage as their opening act. Harry explains her excitement for the tour, saying, "Next year's UK tour is more meaningful to me, perhaps, than the very first time Blondie played there in the mid-70s. The UK has always been a special place to us, and being able to come back to perform there after sitting out most of 2020 is very exciting." Blondie toured with Garbage during 2017, and we look forward to doing it again. "We had a wild ride. All tours are rarely the same. However, I really hope that the new Blondie Garbage concert events are even better." Well, that's all for today, everyone. We hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.